she might die.
Cody says Christine manipulated Janelle. Let's talk about who's really pulling the strings.
Christine is gone.
What am I justifying?
You're pushing me
What
out
am
the
I
door.
justifying?
You're now pushing me out the door.
Cody keeps insisting that Janelle was manipulated by Christine, as if Janelle isn't capable of independent thought. According to him, she just blindly followed Christine and was practically talked into leaving, which completely ignores the fact that Janelle has always been one of the most independent and self-assured people in the entire family. She's never needed anyone to tell her what to think or do.
Cody, I was protecting my children, and you have said, choose your loyalties or you're not going to have a husband.
In fact, Janelle told Christine she didn't see a reason to get divorced until Cody pushed things too far. Especially with how he handled his relationship with their children. That was the real issue.
I don't consider myself married. I consider myself definitely separate.
What's truly revealing is how little Cody seems to understand his own wife. Among all 4 women, Janelle has consistently been the most grounded and least influenced by anyone. Suggesting she was manipulated is not only insulting, it's laughably inaccurate. The irony, of course, is that while he accuses Christine of manipulation,
I don't think he's really even tracking what the kids are doing. He has been pretty focused at what's going on in Robyn's house.
he doesn't seem to notice how deeply influenced he is by Robyn. Christine was absolutely right. Robyn is the love of his life. In Cody's world, Robyn is flawless, practically untouchable. And blaming Christine is just more convenient than facing the truth.
And that's how she's betrayed me with my boys.
If they apologize and they're kind of
No.
Janelle didn't leave because someone told her to. She left because Cody neglected their children.
So I have to make a plan with Savannah.
He distanced himself from Savannah, treated Gabe and Garrison with hostility, refused to repair those relationships.
You need to apologize to Robyn.
And openly insulted them. He effectively stopped being a father to their kids and a grandfather to their grandchildren.
The boys lied, and I couldn't get them to obey the rules.
But instead of taking any responsibility, he pins it all on Christine. Because as long as he can shift the blame, he never has to admit his own failures. This is why Robyn's kids never left the house, while everyone else's did. Season 14 marks a turning point, and not in a good way. When Robyn had to move out of her rental, it became painfully clear just how sheltered her children have been raised.
I really like this house.
It's just, you'd have to go to school at a different school. You have to get...
We would?
The reaction to Cody merely mentioning the possibility of switching schools was extreme. Any discussion about the move in front of the kids was treated like a threat to national security.
Aurora has been having panic attacks, and one of the first signs that she's about to have one is...
It's not hard to see why Aurora struggles with panic attacks. They've been raised in an environment where normal life challenges are treated like emergencies. It seems Robyn is trying to undo past trauma by overcompensating, shielding her kids from reality instead of preparing them for it.
She's having a panic attack, so we're all having a panic attack. It's a great time.
The result? A household of young adults who appear completely unequipped to live independently. The oversized house makes more sense now. These kids aren't going anywhere. And then there's Mary.
It dawned on all of us again. Oh my gosh, you guys, Mary.
You had the thought, where is...
By this point, it was long past time for her to walk away. Watching her hang on while being emotionally sidelined is genuinely difficult to witness.
There's always an older kid with them when they're climbing the rock.
Looking back to the earlier seasons, there's a memorable moment when the family visits a rocky park. Most of the kids are climbing, running, laughing, doing what kids do. Meanwhile, Robyn is calling her children down constantly, cautioning them at every step.
confidence that comes from experimenting with your body on riding horses and jumping things.
In contrast, Christine or Janelle casually acknowledges that kids get scraped up. It's part of growing up. This perfectly illustrates why Robyn's children always seemed out of sync with the rest. They were raised in constant caution, while the others were encouraged to be bold and explore. The double standard is glaring. The mere suggestion of Robyn's kids changing schools is treated as unthinkable, while other children were uprooted without a second thought, forced to abandon schools, friends, scholarships, and activities. Their distress was brushed aside with the expectation to simply adjust.
And so there's nothing here that we've done to do this to her. We never asked to.
Teenagers in the middle of critical academic years were told to pack up and move with little input or empathy. The decision to leave Las Vegas came out of nowhere, just like the move from Lehigh. No one had expressed dissatisfaction with Vegas. And considering how much effort and money went into securing those homes, the sudden move to Flagstaff with its costly rentals and existing mortgages seemed impulsive at best. But bringing up a potential school change? That's apparently where the line is drawn. The contrast is even clearer over time. Nearly all the children from the other households eventually branch out: college, military service, buying or renting homes. The exception? Robyn's children, who remain at home well into adulthood. Ironically, criticism is often directed at other parents for having adult children at home, while Robyn's household remains immune from the same scrutiny. Equality in parenting? Not even close. Robyn wasn't heartbroken. She was exposed, and she knew the cameras were rolling. Rewatching the Knife in the Kidneys episode, one thing stands out loud and clear.
Do we just need to, give you your space? Are you interested in some sort of a...
Robyn's reaction is completely baffling. She didn't have an ongoing relationship with Christine, yet she behaved like they were emotionally inseparable.
Christine, it's like, are you going to be our friend? Are you still going to be our friend?
The tears, the dramatics, the will you still want a relationship with me? Routine, it was all so over the top for someone who barely interacted with Christine. It raises a question. Was this delusion? Narcissism? Or just good old-fashioned performance? Because from the outside,
that was real raw emotion. What teed me off, I think, was Robyn kind of groveled.
It looks like someone who expected everything to follow her carefully crafted script and couldn't handle it when it didn't. It seemed clear she was performing for the cameras, unwilling to admit publicly that there really wasn't a relationship there. And this isn't a one-time thing. It fits a larger pattern.
Okay, because she was being told by Robyn. He still says he loves you. It's bull. Whatever.
There's a long history of pretending everything is fine for appearances. Take the quarantine situation, for example. Robyn and Cody presented themselves as the only ones doing it right, while quietly judging everyone else.
Do you know what he really means? Misbehave.
They spoke as if their version of events was the truth, expecting everyone to validate it. But when someone dared to tell the actual story, it didn't hold up. With Christine, Robyn had grown used to being the one with power, deciding when family interactions happened, if at all.
She talked like things were going to be the same, like that her and I could still have a relationship.
Christine was the one always trying to maintain the connection. When she finally stopped trying, accepted the truth, and walked away, Robyn lost the control she had enjoyed. And suddenly, she was desperate to rekindle something, not out of genuine interest, but because she realized she no longer had leverage. The behavior is textbook, a covert narcissist losing control. In every discussion, Robyn seems to hear a different conversation entirely.
My kids aren't really, there's a lot of anger towards Robyn.
She reacts like everything revolves around her, pulls her children into issues that don't involve them, and projects her feelings of rejection onto them. What's left is confusion. Is this all manipulation, or does she really believe what she's saying?
Robyn? Well, I don't trust her. I think she says one thing but does another. How can you say you want the whole big family picture?
Every comment she makes seems to shift depending on the moment. No consistent logic or memory, just whatever suits the current scene.
We hand sanitize. We stay socially distanced when we're out and about in public.
She positions herself as the authority on all things, polygamy rules, what the other wives should be doing, how they're failing. She's frustrated no one follows her advice, acknowledges her imagined status, or treats her as the true wife. But the facade is fading, and the gap between reality and the role she plays is getting harder to ignore. Mary wasn't just a victim, she was part of the problem. Mary often presents herself as someone trying to maintain the image of a united family.
So here's the crux of the problem. Over all the years, I think, we've misunderstood each other.
In her interviews, she rarely criticizes anyone outright. And when she does, it's usually to point out how certain actions hurt the larger group rather than herself.
She regularly takes partial responsibility for past issues, framing her mistakes as learning experiences. Meanwhile, the rest of the family hasn't extended her the same grace. They openly criticize her, often harshly, with no effort to cushion their words. Despite everything, Mary continued to protect the family's image, well past the point it served her, because that's what was expected.
Anyway, I was joking about Mary during the catfish. She basically, during that experience.
After the catfishing incident, when the family's happy plural life narrative fell apart, she became the scapegoat. No one told her the strategy had changed, so she stayed quiet, trying to play the loyal role, which only made her seem out of touch.
You know, her loyalty is her gift. And so I really need to find something that symbolizes that.
She received the worst treatment, but still clung to the family she believed she had. It's a tragic kind of loyalty, holding on to something that may never have really existed. That said, while Mary avoids trash-talking others, accountability remains a weak point. She tends to deflect rather than own her mistakes. Instead of direct admissions, she offers vague justifications like, "I'm just misunderstood," or "there were growing pains." It's a way of avoiding full responsibility while maintaining the appearance of maturity. The voicemails from the catfishing scandal paint a very different picture, one of someone deep in an emotional affair. Her public admissions barely scratch the surface, usually framed as, "if it had been real, I might have left," rather than addressing the betrayal head-on.
So emotionally involved in it and how she reacts.
I'm a mom. Why wouldn't I be?
Well, yeah, but I'm not reacting the same.
Her relationship with Leon is another example. Instead of respecting Leon's clearly stated need for space, Mary centered the narrative on her own pain. She seemed to believe that if Leon just understood how hurt she was, their relationship would go back to how it used to be. That's not accountability. It's emotional manipulation. Mary was undeniably mistreated by Cody, and that damage influenced her behavior.
Well, Mary has a drive. She's got an ability to push.
But that doesn't erase the ways she mistreated others. Several of the children have hinted that her behavior was far worse than what's been shown, and they've implied they're holding back until the show ends. So, while Mary is a complex person with both admirable and harmful traits, she hasn't fully owned the harm she's caused. Her restraint isn't just grace, it's strategy. She's not protecting others, she's protecting herself from a version of the truth that's too damaging to say aloud. Cody Brown just accused his own son of gaslighting him. But here's the real gaslighter in the room. In season 17, episode 7,
And go off of that.
I've been really struggling the last few weeks.
Cody assists Janelle with leveling her trailer, a scene that's already laced with irony. Janelle, ever resourceful, is managing the situation, but the trailer debacle feels almost comedic in scale.
If I went off the edge wrong, we could...
Gabe steps in to help his father, clearly trying to support him, but is met with hostility. Instead of appreciation, Cody treats Gabe with open disdain. Then, during his confessional,
Gabriel knew the rules all the time. That's why I'm saying he's gaslighting.
He goes a step further and claims Gabe is gaslighting him. That's a striking accusation, especially considering the emotional strain already weighing on the relationship. It's difficult to understand how a father could say something so harmful about his own son in a public setting. But unfortunately, this behavior aligns with a pattern. Cody has previously referred to his older children in disparaging terms, including calling them jerks and asses. At one point, during a time capsule moment, whether it was being buried or unearthed, he even said his sons were dead to him because they didn't participate. His impulsive commentary often spills out without any apparent self-awareness or restraint.
Oh, this is not a safe conversation anymore. I'm sorry, it's just not.
There's also the misuse of terms like gaslighting and not safe, likely adopted from therapy discussions without a full understanding of their meaning. These terms are tossed around, not for insight or healing, but seemingly as tools for deflection. And notably, those around him have rarely held him accountable.
The whole issue here with me and Gabriel isn't that Gabriel doesn't know what's going on, but Gabriel knew what the rules were. He was gaslighting me, I feel like.
Cody's use of the word gaslighting is particularly ironic. Of all people, he may be the least qualified to use the term. Over the years, his actions, manipulating emotional dynamics, playing favorites, and alienating others, mirror the very definition of the word he flings so casually. Accusing others of what he himself embodies most clearly is, unfortunately, consistent with his pattern of behavior. This is what a selfish parent looks like, when everything goes wrong and they blame everyone else. His own words make it clear just how self-centered and lazy he is.
Oh, it'd be nice if she'd make it easy for me to be engaged, but she separated me from it.
He openly admits relying on Robyn to manage his relationship with her children, just as he once depended on the other wives to facilitate his relationships with theirs. Whether they stepped in or not seemed to determine the level of involvement he had as a father. His pattern of favoritism follows the same logic. He showed clear preference for Leon and Janelle's kids, largely because he liked their mothers. Then came Robyn and her children, who quickly took center stage. Christine's children, however, were consistently left out of that favoritism.
Didn't see Savannah either over Christmas. Did she?
No.
Only after Janelle confronted him for completely ignoring Savannah during her birthday and Christmas did he start making an effort, taking her out every few weeks. But even that seemed to fizzle out over time.
Christine and Janelle have kind of banded together with this whole thing. They basically shattered my world.
What's striking is how he says all this as if it reflects poorly on Janelle and Christine, when in fact it highlights his own lack of accountability. He speaks about single fathers as though they're some rare, unsolvable mystery. The reality is simple. When you're no longer with the child's mother, you still have to put in the work to build a relationship. That's parenting 101. His appearance adds an almost ironic layer to it all.
When Cody's hair is in a ponytail, that's why.
I know about her.
It's baffling how someone can look in the mirror, see that hairstyle, and genuinely believe it's working. But beyond appearances, the real issue is his consistent deflection of blame. Christine and Janelle removed me from the environment I interacted with my kids in. That excuse doesn't hold. Parents separate all the time and still figure out how to show up for their kids.
I don't care if he's mad. When you're a dad, you're a dad.
The burden of maintaining those relationships rests on the adult. Instead of taking responsibility, he continues to point fingers, blind to the fact that the problem lies squarely with him. Here's what no one on the show dares to say about Cody and Robyn's COVID drama. Someone had COVID twice.
Towards the end of the night, I had a fever and body aches and chills.
The second time, they experienced severe coughing and needed an inhaler. Clearly very sick. And yet, they still didn't consider themselves seriously ill. Meanwhile, Cody and Robyn acted like they barely escaped death. The exaggeration is beyond frustrating.
Well, I think 6 days of COVID in the house.
Cody claimed he should have checked himself into the hospital, even though he was well enough to drive himself there and didn't appear seriously ill. In contrast, some family members actually experienced real symptoms and challenged his narrative.
Talk to Gabriel a little bit.
For example, Gabe and Peyton both pointed out how over-the-top Cody's behavior was. When Christine mentioned he always acts like it's the end of the world when he gets sick, even Mary agreed.
So I just kind of text her every once in a while, and I'm just like, how's things going?
But then Cody deflected by saying he was busy taking care of the kids, while visibly struggling with anxiety and lying around doing nothing. Janelle consistently reacted with visible disbelief every time Cody dramatized his experience.
You're not coming around. And I about lost my man.
And interestingly, anyone who has dared to call out his behavior no longer seems to have a relationship with him. At one point, Cody even called Janelle while she was on vacation and asked her to come home early just to go to the store for him. She refused, and rightfully so. He hadn't lifted a finger for her when she was sick, yet expected her to drop everything for him at the slightest inconvenience. When Janelle and her sons were sick, Cody was nowhere to be found. But when he caught a mild case, he made sure everyone knew about it.
I was crying and praying, and because I was scared that she might die.
Robyn was hospitalized, but had no oxygen, no vital monitoring, nothing. Cody claimed he had a 99-degree fever, as if it were a medical emergency. The entire situation seemed like an overblown performance meant to gain sympathy. All right, we'll leave it there for now. Thanks for hanging out on Reality Nexus X. I'm Elena. See you soon.